I'm about to lose my job, 15 plus years as a college professor, but today I thank God for it. I want to talk to you guys about why losing your job might be part of God's plan for you. And I want you to stick around to the end because I want to share the mindset shift and my shift in perspective that made me realize that I was on God's path, that He was taking me where I needed to go. And it comes from a book that I remembered from a long time ago. And I want to share that with you guys here. But first, I just want to validate your feelings that what you're going through is a very tough thing to go through. It can feel like a punch in the gut. It's not easy. You might be embarrassed. You might feel a little bit lost. You might feel like, why is this happening to me? And that's okay. But I'm here to tell you, I think God has a bigger plan for you in your life. And I think that He is taking you down a bit different path for a reason. And I want you to open your mind to that and shift your perspective to see what that path is. And I want to be very careful here because sometimes we get in this perspective that God just always wants us to be happy. God always wants us to, or never wants us to struggle, never wants us to go through any hard times. And I don't think that's the case. I think that we are built to struggle, built to go through challenges, but we come through those challenges better on the other side. And I do believe that sometimes that's part of God's purpose for us, is to experience this so then we can grow, we can become closer to Him, and we can try to find our true purpose in life and our true calling of what He wants us to do. Now, I didn't have much say in losing my job. Actually, our university is going through a big retrenchment process. It's a very emotional time for a lot of people. It's not a good thing. But what I found was that I was really stuck in a certain level of comfort. I was stuck in a place where I wasn't going to move unless I was being forced to take action. And for me personally, I think God put this into my life so that I would take action and that I would move to a more fulfilling purpose for my life. But if you're going through this, I know it's a struggle. You're probably feeling bad. You're worried about paying bills. You're often just left wondering, what am I going to do? I want you to pray. I want you to start thinking about and paying attention to the little signs that He gives you. Maybe it's a thought. Maybe it's an idea. Maybe it's something that just pops into your head. And I want you to start following those ideas and start to see what happens. And I want you to be very brutally honest with yourself about what you think His purpose is for you in life and where He wants you to go. And I want you to start saying no to anything that doesn't fall in line with that purpose. And what you're going to see is you're going to start to see a lot of doors are going to open up for you. When you start to truly pursue His path for you, He's going to open the doors and you're going to start to see a lot of cool things happen. Now, I mentioned to you that there was a shift in mindset, and I want to talk about that. And that came from a book that I read a long time ago. It was called The Big Leap. Now, I'm remembering this off the top of my head, so let me know in the comments if I'm saying this wrong. In this book, he talks about 4 different zones that we may fall in: zone of incompetence, zone of competence, zone of excellence, and our zone of genius. The zone of incompetence, as you might imagine, are things that you are not good at all. You wouldn't be very competent in. You really don't want to be in this area. You're not going to thrive in this area. Zone of competence would be things that you think about that you could do. Think of a job that you could work to make some money. Like, I would be competent as a waiter, but I don't want to be a waiter. It's not something I'm passionate about. I've done it before. I'm competent in that area. I could do it. Your zone of excellence. Now, this is the tricky area. This is the one where a lot of us can get stuck in because you can really get comfortable in this zone. You're probably doing something that you're pretty good at. You may be a little bit passionate about it and you do well with it. And people probably ask you to do things maybe in that area because you're very competent at it. It's your zone of excellence, so you do it very well. But you're never quite fulfilled, maybe never quite satisfied, or not exactly, it's not the thing you're most passionate about. But your zone of excellence, I do believe, can lead you into your zone of genius, because there's going to be some parts of your zone of excellence that are going to point to your zone of genius and the thing that you really want to do. Your zone of genius is what you really want to strive to get to. This is the area that you are truly passionate about, the thing you're doing that you truly love, that it doesn't feel like work, and you wake up every day because you just love doing this thing. And now, I said there was a big mindset shift for me around this particular thing, because I realized that my job as a college professor, while I loved it, the big part of what I really loved was teaching. That was the thing that I was really passionate about. And I realized that for years I had been in my zone of excellence. That if God hadn't pushed me out of this job, I probably would have stayed there in this very comfortable position and not moved beyond to what I think is probably my true purpose, my true value, and what I really want to bring to the world. That realization for me, when that little thought popped in my head, I started to realize that this is why I know I'm on the right path. That God was pushing me out of my zone of excellence and pushing me into my zone of genius, trying to push me into a place where I'm more creative, I'm more passionate, I'm more focused, I'm more in love with what it is that I'm doing. And because of that, I've been able to start one of the most creative periods of my life. I've been able to build this YouTube channel where I could start to help people become better versions of themselves, become healthier in mind, body, and spirit, and mindset, focus, productivity. I've been able to go back to my roots around my health and wellness coaching and helping people deal with problems and things like I was dealing with chronic health issues as well. So if this sounds like you, if you're struggling, believe me, I know what you're going through, but I want you to pray, I want you to open up your mind, I want you to look for what God has for you in life and look for the direction that he's taking you and open that door and start to see which path he wants you to go down. Maybe it's another job. Maybe it's you start your own business. Maybe you start to do that thing that you've always wanted to do. Maybe you take this time and spend more time with your family, or maybe you just take a break until you reset. If this video is helpful for you, I'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe. It really helps a small channel like this grow, and I really do appreciate truly each and every one of you for watching this video. And if you want to see my last video on why God wants you to lose your job, check that one out right here.